Hello, today we're interviewing Marian Jones, Principal Research Audiologist in Cochlear Limited, who will talk with us about the latest hearing performance technologies that our sound processor portfolio have. Hi Marian, thanks for being here with us today.
Hi Andrea, thank you very much for having me.
Our first question, Marian, is how Smart Sound IQ with a scan and the dual microphone maximize the audiological experience in the recipients?
Well, Smart Sound IQ signal processing options include automatic sensitivity control, ASC, adaptive dynamic range optimization, ADRO, wind noise reduction, and background noise reduction, that's SNR and R. Dual microphone directional processing was introduced into Cochlear sound processors in 2005 and allows the full range of microphone directionality patterns called standard, zoom, and beam, which provides significant improvement in speech understanding in spatially separated noise. Such spatially separated listening environments occur often in real-world environments. So fixed, zoom, and adaptive or beam directional microphones use the inputs of the two closely spaced omnidirectional microphones on the processor to attenuate sounds arriving from the side and behind the recipient. The environmental classifier, scene classifier scan, automatically detects a user's listening environment and selects the appropriate technologies for each listening situation, including the selection of the directional processing options. So altogether, Smart Sound IQ and the dual microphone technology means the recipient does not need to change their programs or adjust sensitivity, as it will automatically adjust to the environment they are in and optimize the settings.
Thanks, Marian. That is really meaningful innovation that help our recipients to hear the best possible. So, Marian, for noisy situation, Cochlear has developed the following technologies: zoom, beam, and forward focus. Can you explain which are the difference between them and the benefits for the recipient?
Well, beam has an adaptive directional pattern, whereas zoom's pattern is a fixed, highly directional microphone setting. In many acoustic environments, beam can effectively steer the null position of the microphone to best attenuate the competing noise. Nevertheless, there are some acoustic situations where beam adapts to have the very same or very similar pattern to zoom. An example of this is many competing noise sources from many directions, so-called spatially diffuse noise. In this case, beam adapts to the same shape as zoom. In fact, this is where the design of zoom comes from. It gives the best noise reduction for spatially diffuse noise. Forward focus was first introduced in the N7 BTE and is a new control feature in the Nucleus Smart app, available also for the Kanso 2. Forward focus is like a super zoom in that it is an aggressive noise reduction algorithm that uses spatial filtering to attenuate noise that arrives from behind the recipient. It's designed for particularly challenging listening situations. Forward focus aims to provide additional benefits over the directional microphones, making it even easier for recipients to enjoy face-to-face conversation. Discussions with the recipient will assist in identifying the specific situation in which forward focus will provide significant benefit. When I was in a clinic recently, I saw a teenage recipient who had just started working at McDonald's, and in order to hear customers well while stationed at the counter, she activates forward focus, which makes a huge difference for her, cutting out all the kitchen noise and cooking noise behind her.
Thanks, Marian. And what about data logging and hearing tracker? How does this information given by the data logging and the hearing tracker in the Nucleus Smart app have helped the clinicians to improve the fitting, the audiological outcomes and compliance of their patients?
So data logs in Custom Sound Pro allow clinicians to see averages for each metric of speech in quiet, speech in noise, the use of forward focus, accessory use, as well as program usage. But this is over an extended period of time between visits, so it's an average of that time. Hearing Tracker is designed for empowering recipients to self-manage their hearing journey and allows recipients and carers to have visibility on their averages instantly over a shorter period of time, that is a day and up to 8 weeks. So it provides a collated metrics, so it's not separated out for speech in quiet, speech in noise, accessory usage, and then there's coil offs as well. So this is the key difference, as the recipients and carers will have more granular information for those 2 key areas of time in speech and number of coil offs. The sound processor constantly monitors the listening environment and is able to determine when speech is present. The charts on the time in speech screen track the time spent in this is the time spent in a speaking environment. If a streaming accessory is being used, that time is also calculated and added to the total time in speech. Exposure to speech is very important for development of listening skills. This is particularly important for children developing speech and language skills. Time in speech helps recipients and carers to monitor the exposure they have to speech, and it can help recipients or their carers to identify if there are any barriers to that exposure to speech. The time spent in a listening environment correlates to progress in the recipient's hearing journey. The time in speech goal is different for everybody and depends on their age, family, work, social life, and where they are in their hearing journey. A good way to get started is to set a goal and then track that time in speech for a week or so. Then set the goal a little higher to see if it can be improved. Coil off is the number of times the coil was disconnected from the implant each day. It can help recipients or their carers identify the reasons that contributed to increased coil offs. For example, a child who is at home on the weekend has an average of 12 coil offs a day, but when they go to school, the number increases to 25 times a day. So this allows individuals and carers to quickly respond to the information more readily and to rectify the situation and improve those results. So coil off includes all instances when the coil was either deliberately removed, for example, like changing clothes or taking a shower, but also those instances when the coil was disconnected unintentionally, for example, when you flick your hair. So the number of coil offs is unique to the individual, and it's a good idea to establish an individual baseline. Using the number of coil offs every week gives an understanding of what is normal for the recipient. Alternatively, make a note of the number of coil offs on a day when the recipient is quite confident there were no or minimal number of unintentional coil offs. Use this baseline to determine if the number of coil offs you are seeing is higher than usual. Recipients and carers can show their hearing tracker data when they visit their clinic or early intervention support, which assists greatly in counselling, support and troubleshooting.
Thank you, Marian, for sharing all your experience and knowledge about our hearing performance and connectivity technologies.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.